Hi, this is JP Morgan.
And this is Kenneth Merrill.
Starting over because we had some audio issues. But hey, we're back. Kenneth is back with us.
I am back with us again.
He is back with us again. He's been in Utah,
Yep.
shooting and producing there, and also shooting and producing here in LA at times.
Yeah,
so.
I come down about once a month, which is great. The perfect amount
There
to
you
make
go.
me miss it.
Yeah. So it's great to have him back. But let's jump into the news today. Probably the interesting article that I read this last week or so was the one about the photographer who did the image of the little boy in the pool for the Nirvana album cover. And the reason it caught my eye was the minute I saw the image, I know the photographer who shot it. Kurt Weddle was a friend of mine at Art Center. We're in the same class at Art Center. And he was an incredible photographer and guy who did a lot of underwater things because of his Navy SEAL background. And so, I mean, that's when it was hard to do underwater stuff. So the whole lawsuit, I'm going, what? It's 30 years after this image was taken, and there's a lawsuit now because of sexual exploitation.
Man.
You know, I don't know.
That's not really what comes to mind when I look at that photo. But.
No, that's a really interesting thing. You say that. There is a fine line in that world, and I don't claim to understand it or want to even come close to it personally. But the issue is there's a 6-point kind of criteria for what's considered child pornography and what's just a parent taking a picture of their child in a bathtub, you know, which I guess if you did that right could be a problem as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, but there's just that innocence of youth and parents taking pictures of kids kind of thing. But I don't claim to understand all this. But what I do know is this. At the end of the NPR article, it said that Mr. Weddle did not have a model release from the parents for the model.
It gets you every time.
I can't, that is, unfortunately, it's a huge problem.
And he knew it was going to be, he shot it for the cover,
shot it
right?
for the
It
album
wasn't-
cover.
yeah.
I guess. I mean, I wasn't at the shoot. I
Gosh,
didn't talk to him about the shoot, so I don't claim to have any inside information. But I would guess that he did it for them. And in doing that, if you shoot anything commercial, you have to have a model release.
But like I said last night, this was back when they didn't even require seatbelts, so you know, it's not a surprise.
Hey, I have a model release for just about everything we shot commercially for sure.
Yeah.
We used the APA model release for years, and we switched to the Getty model release, and we still use the Getty model releases, which is very airtight. It allows you to use the images for anything except
Do
pornography.
you just download that off their site or something?
Yeah,
or?
you can. If you
Really?
just Google Getty model release, it's accessible to anybody who wants to use it.
I'm going to use that.
That's a great model release.
That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
for doing still photography, it's absolutely the best. So I mean, not having a model release is a huge problem, and I think that puts you in a situation where you do have to defend yourself. I think if you had a release, it transfers the responsibility.
Define commercial.
Define commercial. Oh, really good. The definition of commercial is very simple. If you're going to sell it to someone and they're going to use it to advertise their product, that's commercial. If you're going to sell a print to someone that becomes art, it's a lot more broad.
Yeah.
Street photography. You don't have to have releases for a lot of street photography, and you can make books and
Really?
sell images. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Because that's considered a public domain access.
Right.
You
Yeah,
didn't
makes
go into
sense.
someone's home. Now, if you sneak into someone's home and
Yeah.
take a picture of them, that's a different
or
issue.
if you
but-
shoot them through a window.
Yes, you
Yeah,
shoot them through a
can't do that.
window. There's
Yeah.
things. There's a great case out there in Utah when they opened a little lagoon, and the person, they had a table you'd walk across, and the wind would blow up, and it was freaking people out. You know, so photographers there taking pictures, and this girl walks on it, blows up, and blows her dress up, and he snaps a picture, and she sued, saying, "You took a picture of me with my dress up, and you see my underwear." And the photographer lost. He claimed, well, it's public domain, it's a public event, and the judge ruled that the public did not have a right to see what was under her dress.
Fair.
So that's fair enough.
Fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. But there are limitations, obviously. But normally speaking, for street photography and things like that, you can do books, you can do those kinds of things. You do not have to have model releases. So.
Cool.
So there's commercial. All right, so it's commercial. Even if you do weddings or any kind of portraits, if you don't have a model release, you can't use those for your website. You can't use them for self-promotion. You can't use them for any of your promotional materials. Can't say promotion this morning for some reason. So what most photographers do is put a clause like in their wedding contract that says, I have the right to use these images for self-promotion. And that now transfers that right to you. You can't sell them unless the couple gives you the right to sell them as stock photography or something.
Makes sense.
Yep.
In other news, the Z9 has been teased a little bit more.
Yes,
A
like
little
a little
more.
bit at a time. I always feel like the R&D is going, we're behind. Tease it.
Yes. Give us a photo. Anything.
Anything. But we need 2 more months.
That's funny. Yeah, I was surprised they said it's going to do 8K video, which is not the tack that I would take if I were Nikon. Let me just say this. Nikon does not have the size or the power to compete with Canon or Sony long-term in an electronics race. If I were them, I would become the photographer's brand. I would drop all the video capabilities and just focus on making a killer photography
Or just
product.
light video if you want to pick up a
or
piece
light
or
video,
something.
yeah. But just make it very photocentric, because I think a lot of photographers out there don't like spending $4,000 on a body that has a bunch of features they're not going to use. If they price the Z7 at $2,500, it would be an incredible deal, you know. But as it is, it's trying to compete with the R5, which is just frankly a little bit better in every way.
Yeah, and a lot, you know.
Yeah.
These cameras are pushing themselves in. All of the manufacturers are charging for these cameras kind of in a cinema camera price range now. Most of them are hitting $5,000–6,000. So
It's crazy.
I mean, which really, for a still photographer, if you really want a great image, a D850 that just gave you a beautiful image and didn't try to be anything other than that would be a great camera.
That's still one of my favorite cameras.
It's a great camera. It really is. So that's really kind of a segue into, so that Z9, more to come. I think it does say 8K video. It's got an interesting body shape. You know, it's a very squarish looking body, which means it's probably got a larger battery.
Looks like the R3.
It does look very much like the R3. That's true. So let's segue to that. I have not taken the R3 very serious when it comes to video. It's interesting because I feel like all these camera manufacturers, 10-bit 422 Kodak now is a standard.
Yeah,
if you don't have that, you can't be taken serious as a cinema type camera.
Yeah, I think it's very true, especially if you're shooting log profiles and stuff that everybody wants. That's what everyone shoots now.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the R3 is actually a great video camera. It doesn't have the dual gain operation, so it's not going to have the dynamic range that the C70 does, but it has an EVF like the C70 doesn't. It has in-body stabilization like the C70 doesn't.
But the C70 does have internal NDs, and it has onboard sound.
But Tascam announced they're developing a little module. It's a universal hot shoe module that has XLR inputs.
Boy, that is needed, because we've used one here at Slanted Lens for years for the Sony, and Panasonic makes one, but there's never been a solution for Canon, which would make like the R5, the R6, a great little video camera because you now have onboard sound.
I don't know why Canon hasn't done that.
I don't either.
Tascam to the rescue.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great thing for Tascam, which makes incredible sound recording devices, and to be able to get into that market and have it be universal for any camera, I think that just adds a sound component there. 2 XLRs, just incredible step up there. So the R3 is a camera I guess I should think about. What I love and I want in a camera is I want internal NDs. I want 120 frames a second at 4K. I want to have internal stabilization and an EVF.
So
is that asking too much?
You want a unicorn.
I do want a unicorn. A pink one with sprinkles, evidently. Because that just doesn't exist out there right now.
It's just it's funny because you've been having this every time I see you. You go, well, Kenneth, I don't know what to get. What would you get? That's every time I see you, and this has been going on for like 3 years.
It has been. I've been stuck. I bought the C200, and I've just been stuck. Going, I bought the R5, but then I sent it back because of the overheating. Now I'm thinking maybe I should just buy it again. As a still camera, it's incredible.
You need to convert to the light side, the Leica side.
Really, Kenneth just bought a Leica, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, used. I bought it used.
You bought it
Not
used.
that rich. And it's still too much.
The billionaires buy the new ones. The millionaires buy the used ones. Okay, some other news out there. I thought this was interesting. An artist in Denmark was paid like $83,000 or $84,000, given $83,000 or $84,000, wasn't paid that, paid something like $3,500, to make a piece of artwork where he would put the money on $84,000 on the artwork, and then deliver that to the gallery. Well, the gallery got their canvases, 2 canvases, and the canvases arrived, and they were blank, and at the bottom just had a plaque said, "Take the money and run."
That's so perfect.
I think it is so awesome.
So perfect. Honestly, it's way more interesting than a bunch of money stuck to a canvas.
That is for sure.
I think it's a phenomenal idea, and kudos to that guy for getting a little richer.
Well, the museum's going, we want our money back now. He's going, no. That was that's the art.
It's part of the art.
Part of the art. The $84,000 was part of the art. What I love is the thought of people standing in the museum, because the gallery put them up, looking at that blank canvas. Oh, yeah. I get it. I get it.
Yes.
Take the money and run. Yes. You know, sometimes art is performance art, which I think that almost becomes. It's like you never had to stand in front of a Van Gogh, Starry Night, going, he was, he kept the stars. No, it's like you enjoy the art for what it was.
I think what the photography equivalent would be, and it's like Sony sends you their new A1 with the super nice 24-70 and asks you to take pictures for a couple weeks, and you just send them one image from across the Mexican border.
You run, take
Thanks,
the money
guys.
and run. Maybe the analogy is they send you 100 cameras, and you're going to put them side by side on a large canvas, and it's going to be a Andy Warhol camera theme. And you take the camera and run. You take all the cameras and run. Man. Anyway, moving on.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. This happened in San Francisco, which just a cautionary tale for everyone. Photographer was out shooting in an area in San Francisco in the middle of the day, afternoon. Two individuals came up and demanded her camera. She did not give the camera. She turned and ran, and they shot her in the leg as she ran away from them. I'm going, man, just give them the camera. It's just not worth that much. You know, I've always thought, though, sometimes I've thought, could you hold one second? Can I just get the SD card out of here?
Yeah.
You can sell the camera, but I got a lot of images on here that kind of mean a lot to me.
You know, I will say I get really frustrated and indignant. And the idea that someone can just point a gun at you and then you give them whatever they want really rankles me. I would be tempted to just throw the camera on the ground.
Spike the camera?
Yeah,
then they'd probably shoot you just to spite them.
Insurance.
Or throw the camera at them, but yeah. If it's a nice R3, it would, make an impact.
Probably
this is why you should only shoot with, sports grade bodies. None of those little Fuji XT30s, just in case you have to throw it at somebody.
That's right. Lawsuit. Photographer kills robber with R3. R3 to the head kills robber. In all seriousness, I feel bad for her, and I hope she recovers and everything is fine.
But
my sense about those things is just
give him the camera.
Give him the camera and go on.
And she survived, but so
but
many photographers have been killed.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a couple of photographers a year killed in San Francisco.
We were up on an overlook over on the, I guess it's the east side. We were shooting over in Pleasanton. We shot for a week over there and thought, hey, let's go over and just see San Francisco from the highlight area, from the high up on the vistas up there. Beautiful, and we took some pictures, really gorgeous, but then a week later there's a photographer shot and killed right up there to get his camera. And I heard that there had been like 3 photographers in not that long a time that had been killed up on that little area there. So it's just, it isn't really as safe as you might think, and I think in some of the places Julian and I have gone, late at night in LA, it's not very safe. But so my sense is just give the camera.
Yeah,
and
be careful.
Yeah, be careful, absolutely. There are some new releases here. I think it's pretty important, pretty cool that Tamron is now making their APS-C sensor lenses for Fuji, which I think is a really great thing for them to do.
That is a great thing, because Fuji has kind of been neglected. They don't have any, that I know of, any third-party glass.
No, they really don't. And 18-300 is it's a 3.5-6.3. Which is a great lens, and it's going to be a kind of a walk-around, all-around lens.
18-300 on a crop sensor. It's like a 24 to 450.
Yes, it's 24 to 450, which is pretty amazing.
Wow.
I mean, it is a variable aperture, but that's, you expect that with that kind of a lens range.
Well, you still end up at the 450 end of that, and it's only a 6.3. That's fast.
I know. It's not an f11 like the Canon,
Yeah.
So, but there's several of those out there. There's also the other one was 18-300, and we had the 35-150. The 35-150 is a 2.28. 2.28, which is really a great, I mean, as far as an aperture goes. Now that's for their full. That's not an APS-C sensor. That's for their full frame.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's great then.
That's a really great lens.
Yeah.
A 228. That's a really great
So that's
lens.
for Sony.
That's for just your Sony full frame.
Okay.
And for a 35 to 150,
Yeah.
that's a great travel lens, and to have that 228. And these lenses are compact. This new type of lens is taking, and they're allowing you to program the rings on the lenses, so you can turn one into the focus, one into the zoom. You can change that depending on what you want to do. And the reason that's significant is other manufacturers have a very different way. Canon is a reverse setup to a lot of Tamron's lenses. You know, their focus ring is in the front, Tamron's in the back. I probably got that mixed up.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can change that. You can also change the direction that it focuses. So if you're very used to Nikon, the way they focus, it focuses backwards to Canon. Or Canon focuses backwards to Nikon, depending on how you look at it. So you can change that on the Tamron lenses to be able to customize them. And certainly the new one that's coming out, which is the Tamron has announced their 28 to 75 G2.
Oh, wow.
Is that way. You can, that 28 to 75 allows you, it's a 2.8 through, it just allows you to program both those, which is really nice. So.
That 28 to 72, if I owned a Sony full frame system, that's the only lens, and that's not true. It would be my go-to lens.
It is a great go-to lens.
Yeah.
It really is. It is a great go-to lens. And that light form factor, everything about that has just been so successful.
I like the extra 5 millimeters, because I always felt like 70 was just a little too short for a lot of applications. So
Yep.
75 's
Anything
nice.
that gets you closer to an 85 is so much better for people. And I think that's, yeah, 24 to 85 I've always thought would be a great, but for some reason
Unicorn.
that doesn't work. It's a unicorn with sprinkles. Everybody likes sprinkles. Well, maybe not everybody, but I know my daughter does. My 30-year-old daughter. Okay, so anything else going on in the news in the world of photography and video?
Yeah, I feel like we kind of hit all the big points.
I think so. I think in the coming days, and we have any other, what's that?
C300.
Oh, C300? Oh, I had mentioned this to Steve. Again, this goes back to my dream. I've been thinking about the C70 and the C300 Mark III. Those two as comparison cameras. They both have the same sensor. They'd be a great AB camera setup.
Oh, yeah, they would be.
One's more run and gun, the other's more of a dock camera. The C300 Mark III it's old now, it's older.
I mean, kind of.
Kind of, I guess. But it's kind of an unsung hero. It's an incredible camera. It is an APS-C, it's a Super 35 sensor.
Yeah.
So it is a crop sensor, but you know, it's just a great camera. So in doing dock work and onboard NDs and sound, I mean, it's a great camera.
It is a great camera. I would say it's probably the best camera out there for under $20,000.
Yeah,
I mean, the
so.
FX9 is pretty good too, but.
Yeah, it is. Well, there you have it. All right, so there's the news and views. Any questions, Jolene, we've had from anyone? Okay.
Really.
All right, well, we will be back next. We're trying to do this every Tuesday morning. I don't think Kenneth will be with me next time, but every Tuesday morning, first Tuesday of the month.
Do you ever shoot film?
Do I ever shoot film? Yes, I do. I have the Horizon camera. I did a lesson for it on my channel. It shoots a panoramic image, and I shoot on that, and I love that little camera.
That's fun.
I bought a second one because I'm afraid they're going to stop making them in Russia. Oh, they did stop making them in Russia a long time ago. Somebody in Russia got the basement full of cameras because I see them on eBay all the time, brand new.
Really?
They're in the boxes.
Some guys just collecting them from all the thrift stores and then
Maybe
they're selling
so.
them to stupid Americans.
Stupid Americans are buying these cameras.
That's awesome. I haven't shot film in months.
Really?
I used to shoot a roll every month or two.
Yeah.
Just for fun, shooting around. But I think what it is my my Canon X whatever
A1?
AT1
I'll tell you what, yeah.
has been kind of acting up. Hasn't been performing as well as I'd like, and so it's hard for me to put film through cameras I'm not confident with.
Yeah.
I need to get like a Nikon F3 or something.
Yeah. Andy, you know Andy well, who works with us here at the Slanted Lens. Andy has bought a brand new not brand new, but a used Hasselblad 500 CM. He's buying lenses for it. I mean, he's all in. He's in Europe somewhere right now taking pictures with his film camera.
That is awesome.
It is.
Living the dream.
Living the dream. He really is. So I think film is so much fun and a great. My favorite is shooting Tri-X and pushing it 2 stops. Just let the grain build,
wow.
and it's just a beautiful look for scenics and things. It's just a very dreamy kind of look, especially in that kind of soft end of the day light where it's not very hard. It's just a beautiful look. So yeah, I love film, truly do.
Actually, I lied. I did shoot a roll recently. We went backpacking up in the Tetons in Wyoming. And I like taking film cameras on backpacking trips because you don't have to worry about batteries or cards or whatever. So,
That's true.
Yeah, I always carry a 35mm camera on my
that's
shoulder.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, there you go. Any other questions, Jolene? All right. Thanks for all those questions. That one question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Poor
For
man.
you, we tip our hat. All right, everyone, have a great week, great month, and we'll be here back on the first Tuesday.
Oh, another?
Do you develop your own film or get it processed?
You know, I get my film processed. I send it out and have it scanned, but I have access at a college that I work at to be able to process my stuff. And I'm going to start processing and scanning there.
You know, there's a Freestyle photo here in Hollywood. They're selling this developing kit that's become super popular lately. And you put your, the rolls in, it's a tub, it has a developer, and it has this agitator and temperature monitor, so it always keeps it the right temperature and stuff like that. I mean, it's only a few $100s, and I've been very tempted to get one.
So it's like, is it like the whole chemistry in one tub kind of thing or something?
I don't know enough about developing to really speak intelligently about this, but when you look at it, it's like 2 different tubs, so I think you can develop multiple rolls at once, and then it cycles the developer through. It has this sort of wand thing that has a little motor on it and a temperature regulator, and it has a readout on the top, so you know what's happening.
Well, you got a developer, then you got to stop, then you got to fix, and then.
So I think you probably still have to pour those in individually, but then it kind of.
Oh, we'll check that out.
Yeah,
Something we can
it's cool.
talk about.
We should, yeah.
Yeah, something we can do a lesson on would be a lot of fun. So, yeah, I processed a lot of film back in the day, but recently I sent it out to the lab just because of time and what have you. But anyway. All right, so there you have it. There's a look at some news and thoughts here, and we'll see you the first Tuesday of November. All right, so keep those cameras rolling.
And keep on clicking.